This is Todd Toback, and I'm super excited for today's show because today I'm going to share with you a case study on a deal that we just recently closed. And this one was a banger. It was a $40,000 profit. And if you've listened to me for any length of time, you know I like big, fat, juicy, profitable deals. And I love my private clients to do the same. And I can tell you this, that I've been coaching people in real estate wholesaling, for well over 10 years. And I've been coaching investors probably for 15 or 16 years. And I can tell you that the people who focus on doing big, fat, juicy deals are really the ones who are hyper successful. They got big bank accounts. They've got a lot of time freedom because they can invest in people and they can invest back into more marketing, and they get to spend some of the money that they're making. And so you're going to really, really enjoy today's episode, and specifically because it was actually closed using one of our newest and hottest marketing channels. And I'm going to talk about this in detail. I'm going to tell you how we found the deal. I'm going to tell you how we closed the deal. I'm going to tell you how we sold the deal. And then I'll take you really step by step on the marketing channel that we used. And I'll teach you how to start getting this marketing channel up and running right away, really within a matter of hours. So stay tuned. Before I hop in today's show, though, if you have not been to our website, it all starts with downloading the Motivated Seller script. This is totally free. So go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. This is the very same script that we've used to lock up over 1,400 deals in our real estate business. And I can tell you that the most successful investors in the country have used a variation of this script. So head on over to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/script. All right, so let's jump into this deal. Now, also, I do want to let you know that this is both playing on YouTube and on the podcast platform. So while you can get the majority of what I'm talking about here on audio, you're going to get much more on video. So if you're listening, hey, listen to this episode. You can also check this out on YouTube. If you saw this in an email, you can just click on the YouTube link in the email, or you can just send an email to support@nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com and ask Brett for the 40K deal YouTube video, or you could probably just search YouTube for it. All right, so let's talk about this deal. This one actually was a wholesale deal in my home market of San Diego. And the deal actually was found using this new hot marketing channel called pay per lead. Now, these are a form of internet leads, but you actually pay per leads, not to just pay for advertising. And I'm going to talk to you about this kind of towards the end, but I just want to set the stage that getting back to these leads fast is just so critical. And that's a big part of how we got this deal. Okay, so this deal came into our CRM, which is basically our computer system that holds on to all of our leads, and from a lead that we bought from a company which I'm going to talk about later in this video. But whenever you get any kind of lead, but specifically an internet lead, you better call those people E&O. What does E&O mean? Early and often. I want you to repeat that to yourself if you're listening to this episode. Early and often, early and often, early and often, early and often. Because if you don't get back to that lead, okay, they are talking to your competition. And by they, I'm talking about motivated sellers. The best kind of lead is someone who goes on the internet and searches for, how do I sell my property today? How do I sell my house fast, right? How to get cash for my house. And they start searching all these terms. And so people who are looking for that and then submit a lead or, fill out a web form online, those are the best kind of lead, right? And again, I'm going to talk about how you can actually pay to get those leads sent to you. Anyway, long story short, the way that this lead came in on the internet. We had paid for the lead. And actually, a real estate agent submitted an online form for her client. Now, I got to tell you, one of the reasons why I think we got this deal was because we did not have a self-limiting belief. A lot of investors out there, when they're talking to a real estate agent or they're talking to somebody who's representing a client, immediately, our investor brain shuts off and says, this person's not motivated. I'm not going to waste my time. There's no way I'm going to get a good deal. let me just move on. And I got to tell you, I always train our team, hey, listen, go through the script, ask the right questions, use the stealth mismatch. This is something I talk a lot about in the no limit selling system, because you never know what you're going to find. And so long story short, this house was in Del Cerro, California. Seller was actually extremely successful, was actually an anesthesiologist. But this property had a big crack down the side of the wall, so it had some foundation problems. And really, the seller, for whatever reason, didn't want to list it. The agent was a little vague on that, but she wanted kind of a fast, quiet sale. And so while we were negotiating, we were like waiting for the agent to basically try to negotiate us up on price. But it kind of never happened. We're like, okay, it sounds like we're going to be able to get this at the price that we need. But let me go back to early and often, because one of the things that I talk about is, again, you want to get back to a online lead really within seconds and minutes, and minutes are like days are like weeks, and weeks are like months in the online world. And so we got this deal, and we saw the form, and we called one time, and the agent didn't answer. We called the second time, the agent didn't answer, and we called a third time, and the agent picked up the phone. Now, when I say we called one time and a second time and a third time, I mean back to back to back, almost immediately. Something that we call the stalker method. And I don't know if you're married or not, if you're listening to this, but if you're a man and you have a wife, and if your spouse calls once, you may not answer. But if they call three times, you're picking that up. Or you may be, if you're a woman and you have a husband, the same exact thing, or your kids do the same exact thing. When someone calls three times in a row, back to back to back, the urgency is there. And I always talk about doing this on the initial contact, right? Not on a follow-up. Because if you do it on follow-ups, you're really going to start to chase the sellers away. But if you do it on the first contact, when someone doesn't really know who is calling, I got to tell you, the E&O, early and often, works really, really, really well. And if you do it back to back to back, get in the pick up that phone and have that initial conversation is one of the most important things that you can do. And in this case, I think it got us this deal because the agent picked up on the third try. Okay. And I can tell you what, there were probably other investors who were in the queue, but we really built rapport with the agent and started negotiating with this. Now, what's also a little hack that I haven't talked about often is when you do the early and often method, right, the stalker method, you call three times in a row the first day, you call twice the second day, and then the third you do it once, and each time on the last attempt, you leave a voicemail and send a text, right? Then finally, on the fourth day, what I do is I will have my team send a voicemail and say, hey, I saw that you called. I know I left a voicemail, I sent you a text and you didn't respond. So I'm assuming at this point that you don't really have interest in selling your house anymore. If that changes, just let me know, right? And you say it in a friendly way, not like in an aggressive way, but just be friendly, right? So it's really, really important, again, to do the early and often, because that's how we got this agent on the phone. So we start negotiating with the seller, on the seller's agent. And long story short, we get it for a decent price. If you're looking at the screen right here, the house was actually in pretty decent condition, right? You've got nice views over here. The house was kind of updated, but had a big crack coming into this. And if you can take a look here, the house had a value of about $1 million. We locked it up for $700,000. And long story short, we wound up selling it for $739,995. So it wasn't quite $40,000. It was $39,995. $5 short. So got to be completely accurate there. But one of the things that was awesome was that once we had under contract is we had, 7 or 8 buyers go out there. We could not put this property on the MLS, or I should say we chose not to because it came through an agent. So it's always good to have a big fat buyers list. And we had a lot of people competing for this. And long story short, our best offer was about $40,000 above our buying price. We opened escrow. We got $5,000 non-refundable earnest money deposit, and we closed in about 7 days. Now, just one little caveat here when you're working with real estate agents is we typically use our own real estate contracts when we're dealing with motivated sellers. But when you are dealing with an agent who brings you a deal or who is representing a seller, you typically want to use their agreement. So this agent, she wrote it up on her agreement, which actually is more favorable to us as the investor, the way that we have our contracts written up. So don't be afraid to use a realtor contract. If there's a realtor in the deal, that's what they're used to. That's what they expect. They feel like they're in control, and you want to make them feel like they are driving the ship. And so, man, this one was a really, really fun deal. It was $40K. And again, I'll tell you how we found it. And that was using, again, a pay per lead service. And if you haven't been listening to the podcast, or you've never heard of this, we use a company called FastSellerLeads.com. FastSellerLeads.com. Now, before I tell you all about FastSellerLeads.com, we do have an affiliate relationship with them. We use them in our business, but I get compensated for telling you about this company. But I can tell you what, we've made a lot of money purchasing from this type of service. And a lot of our private clients right now are using Fast Seller Leads, and they are absolutely crushing it. So I'm going to tell you how to set up an account, and it's super easy. And I'll tell you a little bit on how to do the bidding and how it works. So the first step here is you want to go to FastSellerLeads.com, FastSellerLeads.com. And then on the right-hand side, you can sign up for free. It says check availability in your area. You put in your first name, last name, email, phone number, and then you hit let's go. Now, what's important there is you're going to submit your information, and then somebody over there is going to see if your area is available. Hold on, I'm going to pull something up real quick here. And then once you see if your area is available, then someone is going to call you back. Now, that is Joseph Tenenbaum. So Joseph will give you a call back once you submit your information. Again, the first part is free here. And once Joseph calls you back, he'll get your information and set you up with an account. So once you get that account, you log in here. And this is where the YouTube portion comes in. If you're looking about this, is what you do is you really select the counties on where you want to buy leads. So you have to add a delivery method. So you have to add where you want your leads to go to. So for me, I want leads to go to our email. I also want leads to get added to be texted to my acquisition specialist or me. Because remember, I talked about that early and often, right? You want to, again, make sure that you call people back right away. If you are a solopreneur and the closer, I would really have those leads emailed and texted to you. So you add the delivery method, and then of course you got to add a payment method because you're going to be buying these leads. And again, you only pay per lead. All right. So what you're going to do is I always recommend starting in the county that you're in. So on the top here, you'll see counties, and then you want to go to add counties. Okay. Now, then you find your state. And so let's just say I wanted to find leads, I don't know, somewhere in Florida, right? I'm going to view counties here in Florida, and you'll see it has all these counties listed right here, and it tells you about the competition. So I'm going to start in one of my home counties. I'm going to say, let's just say that one of my counties here is, let's see here, Citrus County. Okay, so Citrus County right here, you just press subscribe to county. Now, what's interesting about this, and when you use a pay per lead service like Fast Seller Leads, is you actually bid, right? You bid for the lead. And so in this scenario, in Citrus County, the top bid is $125. Now, you can pay less than that, right? Where you're the tied bid, or you can pay 75 and you're the low bid, or you can pay, go above that to 150 and basically make sure that you're going to get the leads. Now, what's really, really important before I talk about this, you're like, Todd, how do I know how much I could pay? I can tell you right now that this lead source is not for everybody. Right? If you are like, hey, I'm a grinder, I want to cold call, I want to do all the work myself and have no overhead hey, that's awesome. I commend you for that. But that's not really what I teach, right? I want to teach you how to take a dollar and turn it into five, right? How to get a return on your investment. I love to make money multiply. I love to buy my time back, and I love to use money to quadruple and quintuple and keep doing that over and over and over and over and over and over again. And how many times can you play the game? I've turned $1 into five. And so it's really important that you understand what your return on investment, what you're looking to make back. So you'll see, like in a lot of these counties where you're buying leads, you could buy them for 75, 100, 150, 200, 250. I know other people who even bid higher than that, over $300 a lead, 350 a lead, because they understand that if they get 10 leads and they're spending $300 a lead, that's going to be $3,000. However, they're okay knowing that they are going to make $25 or $30 or $40,000 on every single lead. For me in our business, I really like to see our team make 5 times our ad spend. So if we spend $10,000, I love to make 50. Right? If we spend $25,000, I'd like to make 100. And so that is always my goal for you. If you're a solopreneur, maybe a little less might be acceptable to you. But 1 to 5 is a really, 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 really good ratio. And so if you're thinking, okay, I'm going to bid 150 a lead, right? And I'm going to, again, buy 10 leads, that's only $1,500, right? Or if you want 20 leads, that's only $3,000. And if it's 30 leads, that's only $4,500. But if you know that you can make 30 grand on that, hey, I commend you. What I really like about this is if you want to just like turn on the faucet and start getting leads right now, then you can just sign up and start getting leads. This is one of like my favorite marketing sources. The other thing though is that you have to have a little bit of a stronger stomach, right? If you can't bear the thought of spending $4,000 or $5,000 before your dollars come back, this probably isn't the lead source for you. But again, if you're listening to me, you probably understand that I'm really, really into really turning a dollar into 5. All right. So next thing I'm going to talk about is I talked about, again, this is not an expense, it's a return on investment, but also deal size, right? You always want to be pushing deal size. If you know how to do 35, 40, 50,000, even $100,000 deals, you're going to be able to outspend your competition, right? They're going to be worried about spending $5,000 to make 10. And I can tell you that if your competition is trying to make $10,000 because they have the wrong mindset or they don't have the sales skills or they're just not ready, right? They just tell themselves they can't. You are absolutely going to be able to crush your competition just because of your mindset. So get on the train of big deals, right? Invest in yourself, buy some advertising, get some leads, and convert those leads into cash. That's so important. The other part about this is follow-up. And I got to tell you, because a lot of people will spend, let's say, $10,000 a month in an advertising campaign, and all of a sudden they don't do a deal the first month or the second month, and let's just say they've spent $15,000 and they've done one deal, and let's say they made 30, and they're like, that's okay. But over time, you're going to be closing some of the leads that weren't as motivated before, but may have, let's say, filled out a form online. That's really, really, really important, right? And so over time, if you're following up, man, you are also going to be crushing your competition. And so it is so important to follow up. And the last part, again, is improving your sales skills. I talk a lot about the no limit selling system, and you can learn a lot about the no limit selling system by listening for free on this podcast. But if you really want to do big deals, you can check out nolimitsalessystem.com. /backdoor, and there's the very same system that we use in our business every single day. I've used to train dozens of acquisition specialists. The price is ridiculously embarrassing for now, and so you go ahead and check that out. But I got to tell you, I just love this deal for a number of reasons. Again, it was 40 grand. It came in using fastsellerleads.com, and a agent submitted, so we had every reason to believe that it wouldn't be a deal, but our team got past those self-limiting belief. We used it using the stalker method, right? Early and often. We called them 3 times, got them on the phone, or get her on the phone. That was the agent, right? Locked it up using a realtor contract. We had multiple buyers out there. They bid it up. We made about $40,000. It was an assignment, and we got a big, fat, juicy check. And I got to tell you, our ad spend, a return on investment, was definitely within that acceptable range. And so if you're watching my screen, by the way, right now, again, I'm still locked into these counties where you can bid on leads here, right? You could subscribe the county you're in. But one other thing that I'll mention here, if you're watching this over here, if you go to Fast Seller Leads, is you can actually see opportunities. And so if you go under counties and you go under opportunities, it'll actually give you counties in which have low competition where you could buy leads for super cheap. So right now I'm looking at some other counties: Madison, Illinois, Harrison, West Virginia, Grant, Indiana, Calhoun, Michigan, Monroe, Michigan. You know, there's a lot of cities where you can buy leads for cheaper other than your home market. But I always recommend buying leads from your home market. So go ahead and check out fastsellerleads.com, sign up for a free account, and get started. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. I always like bringing you relevant information where you could do deals right now. And today I really touched on a lot of my philosophies. So reminder, if you want that free script, go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com, download the script today, and I will talk to you on the next episode.